Hello, welcome back, and to those of you who are new to the channel, it's a very small channel at the moment, but even so, thanks for watching because it's really much appreciated. So yeah, as you've probably seen from the title, it's not exactly going to be a jokey sort of video. This channel is mainly a no frills thing. I'm just fighting steamed up glasses at the moment because I can't see the camera very well, but I should be looking here. Anyway, yes, this channel is a no frills channel. If you want to see sort of more polished stuff, mainly about transport, check out my other channel, Mega Breadman's World. So this channel is sort of like everyday stuff. Living in France, which I've done now for, well, a couple of 3 decades more or less. It's getting on for that now. Yeah, so yesterday we had to take our dog and say final farewell at the vets. Dolly is a dog we sort of adopted because she was originally my mother-in-law's dog, and she sort of passed away in 2018. And we had a dog at the time called Toffee, and unfortunately I had to do the same thing for her in 2019 when we came back from the UK. We hadn't taken her to the UK with us, but she was being looked after. When we came back, she sort of became very ill, and yeah, it's all cheerful stuff, but it's reality, you know. So at that point we decided to adopt Dolly, because my father-in-law, who was in his late 80s by then, was struggling a little bit to look after her, which is understandable. I think I would be at that age. And so yeah, we took her on. So Dolly's our third dog. We had Toffee, which you just mentioned. She came from the SPR, which is the equivalent of the French RSPCA. And before Toffee, my wife had a dog when I first sort of met her, when I moved here, and that was called Shippy. And so she was a bit of a character. Didn't like the fact that a bloke had suddenly turned up, and yeah, but she was very obedient, and she was a nice dog deep down, but she could be a bit grumpy. So we lost her in 2009, and that's when we got Toffee. So Shippy was from the SBA centre as well, that my wife had got a few years before I came along. So we're sort of used to having to go to the vets to basically stop suffering for our dogs, and it's not a nice process, obviously. So Dolly, as I said, was my mother-in-law's dog. We'd had her for about half of her life, so about 8 years near enough. So we had a good chunk of time, and because it was my mother-in-law's dog, our kids grew up with her. She was born in 2012, so she was 14 when we had to basically take her to the vets yesterday. So she'd been a very good dog, a bit mixed up because she'd been shoved from pillar to post a little bit through no fault of her own, no fault of anyone else either. So, you know, she fitted in with us. She didn't take long to fit in with us because she was already used to us. I think she was a bit scared of men, but she got used to me. When she was very little, she used to go and hide underneath the sofa or something whenever a bloke came into the room, including me. So she was a bit wary of men, really, but she was a very gentle dog, never saw her aggressive, got on really well with the kids, and even though she was very ill towards the end, she'd gone blind, partially deaf, she was never aggressive. I remember Shippy was quite aggressive towards the end, but she couldn't hear or see anything at all, so, you know, I guess the animal instinct kicks in. But Dolly was a wonderful dog, and we really miss her. Yeah, it's been a difficult weekend this last weekend, but she had heart trouble. She had problems with her legs. She had an operation on one of her legs a few years ago on the ligaments, and latterly she was just struggling to walk properly, struggling to eat, and then she started to get epilepsy. And I think that we were sort of saying, "Oh no, we'll hang on," you know. We're off to the UK in 2 weeks, but that didn't make any bearing on our decision in the end. I think we were a little bit scared of taking her to the UK and her being ill or worse over there, and then having to do all the business of getting her back into France and whatever. Perhaps that sounds a bit selfish, but we did consider these things, you know, because you have to when you've got a dog. And the last 2 or 3 years, well, last couple of years, we've been taking her to the UK with us because the owner of the gîte back in Leicestershire was quite happy for us to do that, because before she wasn't keen on having dogs in there. But I think that we've been going so many times that she sort of accepted that, you know, we're not irresponsible, and you know, we look after the place, and if there's an accident or anything, we'll clean up and all this sort of thing. So that was all fine. But it's just that over the weekend, her epilepsy fits they were small fits, but they were getting more frequent. And then on Saturday night, she had one big one, which really scared us, you know, because we thought, oh, that's it, you know. Don't expect happiness from this video, okay? Because I'm, you know, the whole business about this channel is just everyday stuff. So if you're turned off by now, fair enough. Yeah, and if it's got more frequent, sort of from then on. And we had to realise that also our regular vet was on holiday for a week. Madam MB, my wife, Madam MB from the other channel, Mega Redvan, had taken her to the vets last week, so she was on cortisone. And because the vet had gone away, we had to go and see sort of the equivalent of SOS Midsal, so it's an emergency vet in the next city. I'm not going to say which vet it is, where it is, or anything like that, because I don't want to say, I'm not going to say bad things or anything, but I just don't want to implicate anyone in this whole thing, or the vet that we see regularly. Yeah, we considered it because they were getting more frequent. I don't think she would have lasted a week until we could see the regular vet. We did sort of like sort of say no and then yes, and we couldn't come to a decision, you know. But in the end, we realised that she was really suffering by yesterday, so we had to go to the vets. And unfortunately, with it being a Sunday yesterday, it was difficult to get through on the phone. It was difficult to get an appointment eventually. Well, not difficult, but just, you know, having to call a couple of times, being put on a hold. First time was 20 minutes, and eventually we got through. And then when we got there, the place was empty apart from one bloke with his dog, and we had to wait. Our appointment was at midday, and we arrived at 1:45, and I think we were finally seen around 12:30, 12:35. So I had quite a long wait with Dolly and trying to comfort her and so on. And I could tell the vet wasn't usually at that practice because he couldn't find all the equipment that was needed. He was looking in drawers and things. He was dashing about a bit, asking one of the receptionists to come and help him, and she didn't. And it was a bit chaotic, and it was a bit weird because the whole practice was like basically empty apart from the two receptionists, a vet, and probably another vet somewhere. So yeah, it wasn't ideal. His phone was going off, and poor Dolly had been injected with the injection to make her sleep and all this sort of thing. So I'm not going to go into the details about any of this, but obviously it was upsetting. It made me cry. I had to walk out and I would cry in the corridor. And obviously, my wife is crying too. But because in the circumstances, the vet was professional, but it just seemed chaotic. You know, we didn't expect that. So all the paperwork was done, and my wife's got to go and pick up. Should I say Madam MB or my wife? I'll say my wife. Has got to go and pick up the ashes from the same practice, and Emma, my daughter, came up with the idea of perhaps see if we can have the urn put on the tomb where my parents-in-law are, and some other family, because that's what they do in France. They tend to share the same burial plot. It's basically like an underground storage unit, I suppose. Yeah, I thought that would be a nice thing for Dolly to be reunited with her original mistress, with my mother-in-law, with my father-in-law, and if we can do that, then great. That would be wonderful. Um, but it's not here. It's down in the Dordogne where my father-in-law is from, or was from. Sorry, my mother-in-law is from Erol, which is also in southwest France. So yeah, I hope we can do that. Anyway, I'm not going to waffle too much about this stuff. If you want to share your experiences of losing your loved dog, your loved one, because they are part of the family, and you know it's quite difficult for both of us and the kids that we've lost Dolly. We're starting to get back to normal more or less, and we're trying to think about the nice things that she did, because she was a character as well. But yeah, if you have some stories to tell, I'd love to hear them, and share experiences like that part of life in France, even if it's a happier part of life here. Anyway, I've got a lesson to teach later on, with it being closer to the holidays for me. I'm down one person, and a week on Friday I'll be heading across the channel, so all changes, and hopefully I'll do another video about that at some point, or about the trip or whatever. I don't know yet, we'll see. So yeah, I'm going to get back home and get myself a coffee, get a few things done, and then later on get ready to teach. So take care of yourselves, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.